Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. This is a special report live from the Emergency Management Headquarters at the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Guys, we have a problem. Okay? Guys, we have a problem. We have Hurricane Erin that just went from a tropical storm just southeast of Puerto Rico over by the Leeward Islands, and now we have a Cat 5 hurricane. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you a short video from Fox News Weather to show you exactly what's happened here. Please watch this.
The first Atlantic hurricane of the 2025 season is set to hammer the Caribbean this weekend. Hurricane Erin strengthening to a Category 5 storm. Fox Weather's Robert Ray is live in St. Thomas with the latest on this. Robert, good morning.
Good morning to you. Just in from the National Hurricane Center as the hurricane hunters took their planes into Hurricane Erin, which is 160 miles northeast of where we are at on St. Thomas right now. Category 5 storm and winds approaching 170 miles per hour. And it is headed southwest right now, likely going to shift up to the north and shoot between Bermuda and mainland U.S. Impacts expected all across this region. We are expected tropical force winds and heavy rains later today in the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. But the uncertainty of this strength, when we think about this, just 24 hours ago, Erin was a tropical storm, now a Category 5, and the first Category 5 in August since 2007, Hurricane Dean. This is an uncommon instance right now, and if it continues on this track, we should expect significant surge, waves, and rip currents, and even wind fields hitting the eastern seaboard, especially in the Carolinas in the coming days, and Bermuda as well. Back to you.
Robert Ray, thank you very much. This is worth keeping an eye on. Our thoughts are with all of the people there in the Virgin Islands and the surrounding area. Now for more on Hurricane Erin's forecast, Fox Weather meteorologist Michael Estime. Hi, Michael.
Yeah, Molly, good morning to you. This went from a kitten to a tiger, and what we're expecting is for those winds to surpass that 160 mile per hour threshold as it cruises past places like Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Haiti, and still hanging on to some big brute strength as it passes just east of the United States. We're not expecting any direct landfalls. That's important to know. But this thing, again, as Robert Ray just said, it really strengthened quickly in that 24-hour period. Right now, as you can see, working toward the west at about 17 miles per hour. Impacts look like this. Lots of rain expected in parts of Puerto Rico. Upwards of 6 inches of rain expected. One of the reasons why we have flood watches that have been posted, not just for Puerto Rico, but where Robert Ray is at in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So flooding is going to be a big deal. He mentioned rip currents. Those could be deadly given how big the waves are. Molly, where you see this white indicates wave heights between 20 to 40 feet. Boats definitely not getting out in that water. But again, through the work week this week, Molly, just expecting lots of rain, wind, and of course, rough surf.
Yeah, always worried about those riptides. Thank you, Michael. And be sure to tune in to Fox Weather for the very latest on Hurricane Erin, available also to stream on any of your connected devices.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmer.
Okay, now I'm going to bring this back. I want to show you this map here. Look how close that this hurricane will be off the coast of Georgia and the Carolinas. This is very concerning. This is very, very concerning. It's already now pounding U.S. Virgin Islands. It's also pounding Puerto Rico. It's not going to have a direct hit on the Virgin Islands. It's not having a direct hit on Puerto Rico, but heavy rain, 6 inches of rain. That's a ton of rain, guys. Very much a ton of rain within approximately 24 to 48 hours. That could cause extreme wildland flooding. I'm not talking wildland fires. I'm talking about wildland flooding. Okay? Flooding and even landslides there in Puerto Rico. There are people that are going to be displaced by this hurricane in Puerto Rico because of the heavy rains and even some of the winds. Again, the winds of this storm are upwards of 160, 165 miles per hour. And as that weather forecaster said, this may turn into even over 170 miles per hour. We may see a new category of hurricanes being a Cat 6 storm. We've never seen that before. We may see that with this storm. And because it went from a tropical storm 24 hours ago to a Cat 5 storm now is completely incredible. Completely incredible. Okay? It's never happened before. Never happened before. Yes, we've had Cat 5 storms before. The last Cat 5 storm in August was back in 2007. But now we have a new, different kind of animal here. This is a Cat 5 storm that, again, went from a tropical storm 24 hours ago to a Cat 5, 160 mile per hour storm, even possibly 165 miles per hour right now. Again, they just got through flying a hurricane weather plane through the eye of the storm. They've made calculations. They've got scientific evidence of what's happened here with Hurricane Erin. This may become worse. Again, I want to show you this map because the winds and heavy rain are going to pound Georgia and the Carolinas. Okay? Yes, we're not going to get the full brunt of the storm on land right now. Okay? That might change. That might completely change. Now, I want to show you this. Right there. Okay? This is the forecast track of the storm. To the west of this storm, to the left, there is a high pressure system. To the right, to the east, there's another high pressure system. So they expect Hurricane Erin to go right smack dab between both of those high pressure systems. Okay? Now, I'm going to be the devil's advocate now. What happens? What happens if that all changes? The hurricane is a low pressure system, about 984 millibars right now. It could even go lower than that. Okay? Just suppose that this low pressure system pushed that high that's out there to the west, that's right now protecting Georgia and the Carolinas. What happens if that low pressure system hurricane could go and push that high pressure system out of the way and cause a hurricane to hit land, possibly in northern Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas again? Yes, I'm being devil's advocate here. No, there is no forecast right now for the Hurricane Erin to hit land. But there have been some spaghetti models. There have been two spaghetti models that showing it hit land. Now, I'm just throwing this out there for everybody to think about. We are going to continue to monitor this storm very heavily. I'm not letting this go. We're going to monitor it very heavily because a lot of lives are threatened. I have friends in Puerto Rico as well. I have friends and their families in Puerto Rico that I'm worried about. I have friends and family all over the eastern seaboard. We need to pay attention to the storm. We're not going to let it go. Okay? Does anybody have any questions for me? Hurricane Heather is saying prayers for the people in Puerto Rico and Bermuda. I completely agree. Bermuda is going to get hit head on. Okay? Bermuda is going to get hit head on by a Category 5 hurricane. That's very bad. Hurricane Heather says it's now 915 millibars. That means the pressure system has dropped from 984 down to 915 millibars. It could go even lower. Okay, if this storm gains strength, the low pressure system could drop down even into the upper 800 millibar range. It's happened before. Okay, guys, this is unreal. Cassandra Goss is here in the chat saying it gains so much strength so fast. I agree. Okay, now we've talked about man-made storms before. I'm just throwing this out for all of you. Could this be possibly another man-made storm? We saw what happened with Hurricane Helene last September. Are we seeing another man-made hurricane? Okay, I'm just throwing this out for all of you. We're going to monitor this storm very closely and see where it goes. The other thing I wanted to talk about has nothing to do with hurricanes, but earthquakes. I'm going to now bring up the USGS map. I want to talk about some earthquakes right now. Right now, over here in northeastern Australia. Northeastern Australia got hit last night very bad with a 5.4 earthquake. A 5.4 earthquake hit North Queensland, Australia. The seismology of this, the heavy duty rock, this area is very dense in rock and also volcanic. Because of the bedrock here, that 5.4 earthquake that hit here in Australia, guys, hit very bad. The seismic energy traveled over 200 miles away. The seismic energy from this earthquake in northeastern Australia traveled over 200 miles, was felt over 200 miles away. Okay? That's a big earthquake. A 5.4 earthquake hit this area. They've never seen that before. This is the first. This is the first for Australia. Now, will this happen again? Possibly. It could possibly happen again. Now, usually these earthquakes travel over to the north. In this case, could this seismic energy travel up here to northern Australia up here? I'm just throwing this out. It could. We could see this energy travel up here to northern Australia and then up into Papua New Guinea. Okay? Yes, it could happen. Let's go over here to the Loyalty Islands here. This is a 5.6 earthquake here. 5.6 earthquake here. Now it's out in the southern Pacific Ocean. Look where it's at. It's on the earthquake fault. It's on the edge of the plate here. This is not just an earthquake fault. This is the edge of the plate. A tectonic plate, guys. A 5.6 large earthquake. What's going to happen here? That energy could go up here into Fiji. It could go up here to Fiji area here. Okay? But we already have an earthquake here in Fiji as well. This is a 4.6 moderate quake here. But this, folks, is a very deep earthquake. This is a very deep earthquake. This is 395 miles deep, which means this 4.6 earthquake could propagate a 5.6 to a 5.8 earthquake within the next 3 to 10 days. It could mean a larger shallower quake within the next 3 to 10 days. Let's see what happens with this. Again, the last time we told you that we had a moderate earthquake here, it propagated. I told you it was possibly going to propagate upwards of a 6.5 to 6.6 earthquake. It was only 6.3. In this case, this might propagate upwards of a 5.5 to 5.6 earthquake, maybe larger, even upwards of a 5.8 earthquake. Okay, this was a deep earthquake. This earthquake over here in the Loyalty Islands was only 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. This one over here in the south of Fiji, it is probably, and I'm just estimating the kilometers deep period here, as probably close to 600 kilometers deep. That's a big deal. Again, it's this 4.6 here south of Fiji is going to propagate a 5.5 to 5.6 earthquake, even upwards of a 5.8. Very large earthquake within the next 3 to 10 days. That can happen. These are earthquakes on the edge of the plate here. These are earthquakes on the edge of the plate. These earthquakes could go over here to Vanuatu, the Solomon Islands here, or even over here into Papua New Guinea. Okay, let's keep an eye on this. I'm not going to let any of these die out. I'm not going to forget about it because we need to pay attention to exactly what is going on here. Yes, we do have some large earthquakes over here in China. This is only a 4.5 moderate earthquake, but I believe that this earthquake was probably larger. I don't believe they're telling us the truth here. Over here to the west here, also in Tajikistan, this is a 4.7 earthquake, 67 kilometers deep. Over here in the Kamchatka Peninsula, we're still seeing a small earthquake, or not small, I'm sorry. We're seeing a small, dense impact on the aftershocks here. I believe we've seen an increase in aftershocks here. Down here to the south, in the northern Kuril Islands here, we're seeing a 4.5 earthquake, 47 kilometers deep. This is a 4.8, 14 kilometers deep. Further north here, this is just south of the tip of the peninsula here. This is a 4.8. This is an increase in earthquake strength. This is an increase in earthquake strength that has gone north. Okay, now right here, this is a 4.5 here. Again, this is these earthquakes here on the edge of the plate here. Okay, going further north, this is a 4.4 here, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep here. Going north here again, this is a 4.7, also 6.2 kilometers, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep here. This is a 4.6 here, 14 miles deep. We go up here to the edge of the plate here where it intersects with the Aleutian Island chain. This is a 4.3 here. This energy here is going to travel through the Aleutian Island chain over towards Alaska. Not a big deal necessarily. Moderate earthquake can only do moderate damage. Okay? That's what's happening here. We have no major seismic energy hitting either in the United States yet or down here in Central America. Down here on the Cocos Plate here, just south of Guatemala, we have a 4.4 earthquake here. This is 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep here, 4.4 earthquake. This one over here, just south of El Salvador. This is a 4.2 earthquake, 29 miles deep. Okay? Down here in South America, they're not being honest with us here. Over here in Colombia here, okay? Actually, this is northern Ecuador, southern Colombia. This is a 4.6 earthquake, also 6.2 miles deep. Going over into central Chile. I shouldn't say central, north Chile here. This is North Chile. We have a 4.3 earthquake near Cochane, Chile here. Just north of there, a 4.4. We have more than 14 earthquakes in this area, and USGS is only showing us 2. We go further south here. This is near Arica, Chile. Notice these are in the Andes Mountains here. These are in the Andes Mountains. These are in the foothills of the Andes Mountains in actually Argentina. But they have this earthquake as 37 miles east-northeast of Arica, Chile in the Andes Mountains here. Okay? This is also the edge of the South American plate here. Edge of the South American plate. But it's not over. Out here in the Eastern Pacific, off the coast of Chile here, we have a 4.1 earthquake off the coast of Constitucion, Chile here. This is also 20 miles deep. Okay, but they're not showing all the earthquakes here. We have 12 earthquakes down here in central Chile, either off the coast or on land here in central Chile. Over here, we have 14 earthquakes here. They are not showing us everything going on. They don't do that. Over here in northern Ecuador, southern Colombia here, we have a 4.6 here, as I said, but they're not showing all the earthquakes here. We have 3 other earthquakes here in Colombia as well. Okay. Over here in Puerto Rico area. Down here, we have Hurricane Erin. North of Barbados here. Then come back up here. Over here in the Virgin Islands, we have Hurricane Erin here. It's spreading. It's a widespread storm now. Okay. The winds and rain are hitting the Virgin Islands and are also hitting Puerto Rico. Again, with upwards of 6 inches of rain that are going to drop here in Puerto Rico within the next 24 to 48 hours. The storm is moving north. Okay. They said it was moving southwest, but then it's going to go north here as well. We are hoping, everybody is hoping, that after it leaves this area, it's going to go north here into the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of Florida and the eastern seaboard here. But if it were to go further east, further west, what would happen? Let's keep an eye on Hurricane Erin, guys. Things can happen. We've seen man-made storms before. Let's watch and see what happens. Again, there is a high-pressure system here over northern Carolina and southern Carolina, and that is what may keep Hurricane Erin offshore. But if that storm moves any further to the west, that storm could push that high-pressure system further north, and then the hurricane would hit Georgia and the Carolinas head on. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. Let's watch and see what happens. Guys, I love each and every one of you. That's why I decided I needed to come on the air and talk about this, because this is real. This is very, very, very real. We need to keep an eye on everything. We need to keep our ears on. We need to keep advised of what's going on, because it can happen to us. Regardless of what anybody else thinks that it won't happen, it could happen. That's why we're on the air right now. Does anybody have any questions for me? I'm happy to take any questions. Surgery saying it's a Cat 5 storm right now. Yes, it is. But it could get even higher. Right now, they said the average wind speed was 160 miles per hour. It's probably closer to 165, and it could go upwards of 170 miles an hour. And that could happen anytime. They're probably going to fly another hurricane jet into the storm probably within the next 48 hours. I wouldn't even say 48. I think within the next 12 hours, they're going to take another flight into the hurricane and monitor what's going on. Because again, this went from a tropical storm to a Cat 5 storm very quickly. They're going to want to keep a very close eye on Hurricane Erin. Any questions here? Adrian came in just to see what was going on. I've explained about the earthquakes, and now I've explained about Hurricane Erin as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday. Enjoy your families. Enjoy your time with your families and friends. God bless you. God be with you. And God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side.